10 seconds.
Welcome back to the channel. Wheelman81 here. We are at NORCS round 4 in Washougal, and this is a crazy start. We're already getting peppered with rocks. There were like 50 riders here. It was a huge start, and right off the bat, the chaos starts. Guys down in front of me falling left and right. I mean, it was a crazy start. It's insane, and it doesn't stop there. So we're going to go around this corner. We're going to go up Horsepower Hill. I've never done this track before, so you'll have to forgive me for breaking over the jumps and not flying 50 feet in the air like some freaking motocross dude. But I'm trying to pass people. I'm in the race still right now, and I see this big hill coming up, and I'm thinking, I'm good at hills. I got this. There's already a pileup. There's dust going on. It's getting crazy. And I see this big pileup, and I'm thinking, oh, I got to get around it. I stall my bike, though, and I'm like so ticked at myself. People are like everywhere. It's getting crazy. But I get on the gas. I'm gonna get around these guys, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I made it. I'm getting up this hill. I'm getting around these. Oh gosh, there's people on the left and the right. It's insane. So I get around them, and I'm thinking I'm doing pretty good. But then we come around this corner. We got to go down the hill right here, and we're gonna go up and around and up another hill. And the chaos just doesn't stop here at the beginning. It's insane. So we go up around here, we're going through some trees, we're going to make a little left turn, we're going to go down a hill and then up another big hill. And again, I'm thinking, I'm good at hills, I'm going to shoot up this thing and go around these guys. I get up onto the left side, this guy bumps me right here, and I lose all my momentum right in the middle of the hill, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck getting up this hill, and this is the end of the race for me pretty much, unfortunately. I'm in the worst spot you could be in for a dirt bike. Right in the middle of the hill, and I'm thinking, do I go back down? Do I go back up? I'm just gonna tough it out. I'm gonna go over here through these trees. These guys on the left are clogging it up. I'm gonna go over here to the right. I'm pushing through the trees. I'm spinning the tires. I'm revving the engine. I'm pushing the bike up the side of this mountain. And guys, it doesn't look that steep maybe right here, but these were some of the steepest hills I've been on. Hills that it's hard to ride up without popping a wheelie. Hills that you can't go down. Man, I hit this guy. I feel bad. I'm trying to stay out of the way, but there's so many people at this start. I finally am starting to get some traction. I'm getting up this hill, but I'm sucking wind now. I'm out of breath. I'm tired. Oh, it was a crazy start, guys. Insane start to this race. So we get around the downed rider on the right. And this hill right here is the steepest hill I've ever ridden. Insanely steep downhill. I'm on the front brake, I'm on the back brake, and I'm just sliding down this hill and praying I make it to the bottom without going over the handlebars. I wish you could see how steep these hills were, guys. Nothing like I've ridden before. Even those sand hills out at Frostbite, these were next level. Oh man, and it was such a fantastic track out here at Washougal. I've never ridden this track before. It was perfect dirt. It was technical. It was single track. It was motocross track. It was grass track. I mean, the weather was fantastic. The track was fantastic. And I'm honestly like, at this point though, I'm behind the pack. I'm completely gassed at this point. I am out of breath. We are just now making it to the start of the lap up here past these campers on the right, and I feel like I'm already done with the race. Like, guys, this was that hill like took everything out of me, and I've never been stuck on a hill like that before. I've always got to the top. It's crazy, but here we are. We're going into the grass track, and I should be, you know, twisting the throttle, but I don't have anyone in front of me to kind of set the pace for me, and I've never been on this track before. I'm kind of picking up the pace, but I don't know what's up there. You know, maybe there's a hard left turn into these trees. I don't know. So it's kind of hard for me to go too fast, and if I had a rabbit to chase, that would help me. If I'd been on this track before, that would help me. But unfortunately, you know, being in the back, being gassed, being unfamiliar with the track, I'm just going slow, unfortunately, and it wasn't my best race, guys, is what I'm getting at.
I don't think I've ever gotten stuck on a hill like that. I think somehow I've always made it up. That was fucking hard. Holy crap.
here. We're passing some campers on the right and stuff. And I'm trying to pick up a pace because I can see a little bit ahead of me. And in my head right now, I'm still thinking, oh, you know, I got a chance to catch some people. But I don't think I realized how far ahead everyone had gotten. And I think it's a combination, like I said, of people having riders in front of them who know the track and are kind of setting the pace for them. And maybe they're familiar with the track themselves. But at this point, I think there was one guy around me that he and I went back and forth, but there was really no chance of me getting back in this race. I finished 37th out of like 50 riders or something, which I guess puts me in around the 18th percentile or something like that. And that's about where I normally finish in the C class here at NORCS. As you guys know, C class is not C class like in NMA, because NORCS actually has a D class. So the competition's a little better than the bottom beginner riders. So I'm pretty happy with finishing in the bottom third of that group right now, whereas over in NMA C class, I'm kind of more towards the top of the group. Absolutely fantastic. It was a little damp, but not muddy. There was good grip. One thing that was throwing me off were these ruts in the turns. The ruts were real deep, and I've kind of been stuck in my head that the ruts are scary. Like my front tire gets in the rut and it grabs the rut, and next thing you know, I'm laying on my side. And I actually fell once in this race because I got in the rut and lost control of the bike. So that's definitely something I need to work on in the future.
Hard to see with all the shadows.
Someone here I can chase, which, as I've said before, you know, that picks up my speed a little bit because they're kind of showing me the way through the track, and I know I can go at least as fast as this guy because, you know, he made it through the trail. I should be able to make it through the trail, and I'm going to be behind this guy for quite a bit. I think we went back and forth a few times, and if this is the same guy, I'm thinking I remember. I think I finished in front of him, but I'm not 100% sure because we do split up at some point during the race. But right now, especially going into this technical section, as you can see up in the mini map, it gets down to like single track. It's nice to have someone there in front of you kind of showing you which way the trail turns left and right and all that kind of stuff. Right next to Tahuya OHV Park, I'd be real comfortable on stuff. Like, this is my home turf technically, but every time I go over to Tahuya to practice riding, because most of the races are at places like Eddyville, I go out into the big double track areas and in the wide, no tree areas. This has shown me at this race how important it is to be able to ride this rutted, muddy-ish, soft dirt single track, 1.5 track. I don't know what you call that, but it does get down to tight single track here in a little bit. I need to go practice that. I've clearly left this out of my skill set, and I'm lacking here, especially with these ruts, man. These ruts were like in my head the whole race, and I was trying to stay out of them at all costs, but it seems like the way to get through these turns quickly is to get in the rut and hammer down. But just look at how great this track is, man. I mean, like, you're weaving and bobbing through the trees. I mean, great dirt. You're left, you're right, you're getting around this. You got a couple of spots to like really get on the throttle and open it up, like right here, and you're in the trees and the bushes, chasing people. I mean, man, it would be so great. I got to get better at riding this bike, man, because to be able to do that at speed with the pack, that would be an amazing experience. And the only thing that's keeping me from it is skill on the bike. So I got to get out there and practice. Right here starts the super technical single track. I mean, you can see it. It's legit single track. People were going slow through here, even, like when the leaders were lapping me and stuff, they were still going slow through here. So definitely a technical section from what I can tell from everyone riding it. Again, this is something I should be good at. I mean, if I took a screenshot right here and asked you to tell me if it was Tahuya, you'd probably say probably. But man, I got to get better at this stuff too. Again, fantastic track. I got to get better. Now I'm going to get around my pacer here, and because of some downed tape and some confusion about turns, and I'm going to head up into this technical section, but now I'm leading and I don't know where the trail goes because I don't have someone in front of me to follow. It's tough when you're just out here riding blind and you've never been on this track before. So I'm doing what I can. This is the toughest section of the entire track, and I'm not good at single track. so don't be too mean in the comments, guys. I'm still learning this motorcycle thing, and as good as this track is, I still have a lot to learn. so that gets us out of the tight technical force section, and then this kind of is like a intermission where they take you back out onto the motocross track for a little bit, and you get to go out here, play around on some jumps and stuff, but then they take you back into the forest. I kind of liked how they broke that up. It kind of gives the spectators a couple of times to come and watch you, and they get to see you pass several times during a single lap. My wife was here, she was over in the stands here, and it was kind of nice to have her there and know that she's going to be able to actually see me instead of, you know, going by once and doing the entire motocross track and then being in the forest for 30 minutes. This motocross track was tough to me because you can see I'm way out here on the outside, and I'm trying to stay out of these ruts. Like I said, it's in my head that these ruts are dangerous, and these ruts were everywhere on the motocross track. There was almost no avoiding them. You can see there's just like rut left to right, and it's just, I don't know. I was going way out here to the outside to avoid those, and every time I hit one, it became like this scary event where I was afraid I was going to fall. Like, man, I really got to get better at that too. Forest riding, single track, and pretty much dirt bike riding in general. So here we go back into the forest. It's going to pick up some more single track, and probably the toughest sections of the entire lap are inside of this single track section. I mean, the single track was tough in itself, but the specific toughest portions were in this section coming up. Right here we're going to get into some pretty tight single track and steep hills and roots and stuff. This is the kind of track for me that I'm doing like the doggy walk on the side of the bike, trying to push it up with my legs at the same time I'm twisting the throttle just to keep balance because I'm going so slow and stumbling over stuff. Obviously I could be better at that, like I've said before in this commentary, but this single track section right here was pretty freaking tough. So right here I tap that tree and it kind of throws me off balance. I stall the bike. I'm kind of frustrated and tired of myself, of course. I get it started, and right here is the hardest turn in the whole freaking race. You're going downhill, it's off camera. If you look to the left, there's a ditch that's all loose dirt, and I'm trying to not go down into that ditch, but every time I came around that curve, I went so slow, like to the point where I could have walked it faster, it felt like. So I didn't end up in that ditch on the loose dirt. I don't know. I thought that was a really tough turn. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So we're out of the tight single track now, and you can see on the mini map that it kind of opens up. You got a couple of nice straights and some rolling hills and some wider track. But I don't know that in the race, so I just came out of that tight single track. I don't know this track, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't know how fast I can go through here before it takes a tight right turn or a switchback. Add to that, I'm gassed. Don't forget, at the start of the race, like I hit like probably my VO2 max or something pushing the bike up that hill, and that chaos at the beginning of the race. And I've never really fully recovered. You take a couple of breathers, but it's tough to recover while you're riding, and I don't think I ever recovered. So I'm dog tired through here. moving the bike back and forth through this tight technical stuff, I think that takes a little more energy than just bombing through the desert. I know my triceps are way more tired today than they were on any of the other races I've done, and I think it's because there's so much turning and maneuvering the bike opposed to something like Eddyville where you're just ripping the desert as fast as you can and stuff. So I don't know. I wish I knew the track better, and I'll just get that over time, you know, riding Washougal over the next couple of years or however many races go out there. Story about this race. I mentioned that I finished 37th out of like 50 or something, but I was also the last person to finish the race. I came through the gate like right before the cutoff, and I had complained before in other videos that one of my complaints was NORCS doesn't last as long as NMA. Well, apparently that's on me. I need to ride faster and get that third lap. I came through the gate. It was funny, I came through after the second lap and they said one more lap, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But they closed the gate like probably like 5 minutes after I came through, and the people who came through after me were mostly like guys lapping me, so they passed me very quickly, and that just left me as the last person to finish the lap, and I had the sweeper behind me. And at one point I stopped because I was completely gassed. Like, I was barely able to ride the bike at that point. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, do you want me to pull off and take the DNF? Because I know I'm going really slow. The guy was super cool. He said, no man, my only job here is to make sure that you get off safely, and you know, take your time, take a break if you need to, but let's finish this race. And he was encouraging and stuff, so that got me through that last lap. Believe me, the encouragement helped a lot. And I'm so happy he did, because I'm happy that I finished this race and didn't take the DNF. Like, being able to finish that third lap feels like an accomplishment to me, as tired as I was on that third lap. This was honestly the most intense, from endurance-wise, motorcycle race I've done. This ranks up there with that first, the one out in the desert with the big whoops, where I just was like, this ranks up there with Rimrock, where I just got in the FJ and fell right asleep because I was so tired. I almost DNF'd from exhaustion, and that's wild to me. I don't do that very often, so definitely a tiring but amazing race. Just passed me, and I remember thinking during the race in the moment, I don't know if these are lappers. They didn't seem as fast as the sportsman riders, but they seemed pretty dang fast, so I wasn't really sure. And the way they started the race, they had such a gap between when the sportsman riders left and when we left, that undoubtedly they were going to lap us. I mean, they were probably halfway through their lap before we even got started. So I was expecting them to show up during my first lap. I don't think that was them, though. I think maybe those two riders were the people I was chasing earlier, and I'm just going real slow. And they look fast because I'm going so slow. I don't know, though. Maybe they were sportsmen. I'm not real sure. I was a little confused about it, and I still am. motocross track for the 3rd time in the lap. Like I said, they sent us through here several times, and that was great for spectators. And you can see in the mini map, we kind of whip around the outside of the motocross track and then bring it home, head back up Horsepower Hill, head back up those 2 hills where all the chaos was happening, and then finish the lap. Now, right here were some whoops that I've said I'm getting pretty good at, but I was so tired that I couldn't even stand on the bike at this point, and it's only lap 1. So, man, not my best race, but whatever. I finished. I did okay, so I'll take it. Jump from the rider in orange, but up here on the right is where we started the race, over here on that cutoff, and we came into this first corner here. This is where all that chaos happened on the first lap. Heading up Horsepower Hill for the 2nd time, I really wanted to hit these little jumps with some speed, but at this point I'm just so tired that I don't think I have the energy to make any kind of jump effort, so unfortunately. Now we're going to hit these hills again, and you can see that I have no trouble getting up the hills when it's just me. I think all the chaos just really threw me off my game. Same with the other hill coming up. Really no issue getting up by myself. I did lift the front tire a couple times because the hill was so insanely steep, but other than that, I got up the hills just fine the 2nd time. It's just all the people around me and the chaos that threw me off the first lap. I genuinely feel bad about hitting other riders on the trail. I know I'm the slower rider, and I try to get out of people's way. I'm legitimately not trying to race like people do, where they block the trail and fight for positions all the time. Man, I feel bad, but I just don't. I don't think I have the awareness yet. I hear the engines coming up sometimes, and I try to get off the side of the trail, but sometimes people are coming up so fast that I don't even have a chance to hear them, and I legitimately feel bad about hitting people on the trail. I try not to do that. Alright guys, that wraps up one full lap of Washougal. Like I said, I finished like 37th out of 50, so not too bad. I'll update in the comments below when I get the official score. Guys, this is one of the best tracks in the Pacific Northwest. This ranks right up there with the desert races and Rimrock. I mean, you have to come do this one if you get a chance. It's tough, but man, it's a fantastic track to ride. I've got some bike content coming up. I got some races in early July, and I've got some car content coming up too. So I hope to see you guys in the next videos. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you then.